Hello, welcome to Mary's Economics. In this video, I'm going to explain something called the poverty premium. So a premium is an additional amount of money that you might pay for something. The poverty premium is the additional amount of money that poor people are forced to pay for the same goods and services as other people. So they get the same thing, but it costs them more. Let's break this down and think of some examples of that. So somebody who has a car, a modest car, a nice little runabout, nothing too flashy. It's going to cost them a certain number of pence per mile to travel, right? You break down, tax, insurance, fuel, obviously. It's going to cost them a certain amount of money per mile to travel where they need to go. If you don't own a car and you are reliant on public transport, taxis, or buses, you're going to be paying a much higher rate per mile, unless you're lucky enough to live in London, where public transport is highly supported by the state. And wouldn't it be great if we had that everywhere? But we don't. So, where I live in Swansea, a day bus ticket to get you everywhere you need to go is £7. Okay, another example of the poverty premium, a really good one is food. So, think of a branded item. They're not always the cheapest, but they're the best for comparison. So think of a branded item and how much it will cost you in a big supermarket compared to how much it will cost you at a small local corner shop. Now, given what I've just explained about transport, if you can't afford to get to the big shop, then you're going to the small shop and you're paying a premium on that same item. You also, if you do manage to get to the big shop, you're not going to take advantage of bulk buying discounts, buy one, get one free. You're not going to stock up while there's a time limited special offer on because you can't afford to do that. So not being able to jump when things are discounted or in the sales because you don't have the money right now is another example of the poverty premium. Another one is insurance. So here's a little thought experiment. So, I've mentioned Barry's Economics. He's really great for talking about how we just accept rampant inequality and people on lower incomes being treated worse and punished. And we're just kind of subtly brainwashed into accepting it and going along with it. Now, obviously, in terms of the insurance provider, if you live in a high risk, high crime area, then, they're taking more of a chance on you. Your premiums are going to be higher. And that just makes sense. Doesn't that just make sense? Of course it does. But just close your eyes for a minute and picture, a modest car, that same modest little runabout I mentioned earlier. Picture that parked outside a block of council flats where there's, a broken set of swings and a half-burnt bench and no trees. Just picture it parked there, and then picture it parked in the driveway of a nice semi with a magnolia tree on the lawn, and just ponder the fact that the person with the magnolia tree is paying less for their car insurance. I mean, when you really think about it, it's quite jarring. Energy. So prepayment meters used to charge people more per unit of energy than people who were paying by quarterly bill or by direct debit. And that's been changed. Now, prepayment meters often do still end up costing people more in ways which I won't go into in this video, but just to say, the government basically said to energy companies, you have to stop doing that. You have to stop charging more per unit of energy to the poorest people in our society. But they got away with it for decades. And I mentioned that last because it's good to think that policies can be changed and rules can be made that create fairer systems for everybody. See you next time.